Whoa. There we go. Esmeralda, what's first? Establish a, I don't have it up in front of me.
Call to order.
All right, we're gonna call, hold on, I got a piece of paper. Call to order. Members present. Who's here? Tom,
Yes.
Bruce,
Yes.
and myself, is that it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, audio recording announcement. Pain in the ass. Hold on, I gotta get out of this view. Here we go. Keep switching back to this. Hold on a second. It won't stay on that page. There it is. New public participation guidelines, and guys, I don't know what's gonna happen. Esmeralda, have we heard anything yet on the 15th? What are they gonna do? Keep it this
No.
way, or what are they doing?
No, I have not heard anything.
Okay, members of the public wishing to participate in the meeting must use their full names. I'm gonna do my New Jersey fast thing. Zoom access. Full names are not used. People will not be allowed to participate in a discussion. Town reserve the right to remove any member of the public from the meeting who doesn't use a full name or acts inappropriately. Confirming member access as a preliminary matter. This is the MAB. Permit to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Bruce, myself, and Tom. Members, when I call your name, please respond to the affirmative. Tom,
Yes.
Bruce,
Yes.
myself. Okay, Esmeralda, you're the only staff member here.
I am the only staff.
Okay, and you're here. Anticipated speakers. You don't see any, do you?
Nope.
Okay, good morning. Open meeting of the MAB is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order, March 12th, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus and several subsequent viruses. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we've been able to advise and direct the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings as such. The governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in public accessible by in a publicly physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted with the agenda materials of the meeting, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as the reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberation of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting can feature public comment if somebody shows up. For this meeting of the MAB is convening by video conference via Zoom as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Zoom meetings, please note that the meeting is being recorded, that all attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, be aware that other folks may be able to see you, and take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. Meeting materials. All supporting materials have been provided. Members of this body are available at the town website unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless I note otherwise. Meeting business ground rules. Now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and ensure accurate meeting minutes. I will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude the remarks, the chair will go down the list of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, question. Please hold until your name is called. Please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. As I'm taking the minutes, I silence my phone. Been ringing since 8 o'clock. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in a conversation with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. For items of public comment, after members have spoken, the chair will afford public comment to those, here it goes, members of the public that have joined the VIA meeting. Hang on one second. Hello? Yeah, I got to call you back. I'm on a Zoom meeting. Okay. Forward public comment to the members. Hold on, I just left. Join the meeting via Zoom. Members of the public who wish to speak must state their names and be acknowledged by the speaker through the chair. Friendly vote taken will meeting be a roll call vote. And enough of that. Okay.
I see Diane Combs, Linda, I see Diane Combs has joined us.
Okay, she's not really supposed to, but that's another issue. All right, so Diane is joining. Diane Coombs. Okay. Where are we going first? Adoption of the agenda. Somebody want to make that motion?
So made, Bruce Mandel.
Bruce and Tom, you second. Okay, that's the agenda. All right, and now we've got, I can't read that.
What do you want?
GY, what?
What do you want me to read for you?
Hold on, WIN with, oh, I've heard this name before. With,
Guy Wazinski.
interesting. What is that, 13 Arkansas?
Yes.
And it's solar?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Interesting handwriting. All black. It's not very big. Okay. Unfortunately, I hate it when they do that. Let's see. They don't put the road on the plot plan. I got it on the GIS.
It's our,
Okay. We might as well go down, look at the house. Okay. Next one. Okay. Huh.
From that first view, with these solar panels on the front or the back?
On the south.
they're-
And take a look at the, look at the GIS map. They're on the south elevation. You see, look at the GIS and you see where it's got a ridge that runs parallel to the street in the front. It's that back whiter section of the rear roof. That's where they are.
It's the side, part of the roof that faces Arkansas Avenue.
Well, it does as it curves around, but it faces that long driveway to the left there.
It faces it. I mean, I know the property. I can actually see it from my house. But when it's my turn to speak, I'll be happy to make comment.
All right, go to the next page. Okay, they're black, they're matte. These are different. I haven't seen these before.
They presented those at some other projects.
Yeah, these are the newest ones. I'm used to these old crappy ones.
These
Do we know what color the roof is?
black.
Hang right there.
It's gray.
Oh, they're putting it on the garage, the rear part of the building. Okay. I guess the roof is gray and these are black.
Correct.
Okay. Question is it inappropriate in Madaket? Probably not. But Bruce, you want to go first?
Yes, I'm happy to. We just completed our first community survey and preparing the Madaket area plan. And
You have a Madaket area plan. Are they updating it?
yes, we are in the process, and we surveyed the community with the first survey, and the results were the community prefers ground-mounted solar, properly vegetated and buffered when there is sufficient land area to be available, which there is in this case. I won't go into the maintenance of these things on roof, but the panels are reflective even though they're matte. They're
Can
incompatible.
you get rid of the, Esmeralda, can you get rid of that red thing? That red circle?
I don't have that red circle.
Yeah, just do that.
Oh, I see.
These solar panels can't be in a setback. I don't think they have enough room on the ground.
There's plenty of room there. It's a half-acre site.
It doesn't matter. They can't be in a setback. I don't know what the zoning is here.
They wouldn't be in a setback. Linda, there's room there right before the little pork chop. And they would still face south.
And
There,
they'd be visible from Arkansas Avenue. If
yes,
they're over neck there, they'd be visible from Arkansas Avenue. I can't stand these ground arrays. I've seen plenty of them lately and they're terrible. But
What's that?
it's over there, it's gonna be in a setback. If it's this, I don't know how big it would be on the ground. That's the problem.
These things are 250 square feet. And takes up the entire section of that roof, goes all the way up to the ridge line. It's totally incompatible with the objective of preserving Madaket's country, rural, neighborhood nature. There is sufficient ground area available. I walked over there. They're out of scale for the size of the roof, taking up the entire roof plane. The pictures they took are kind of cherry picked and don't actually represent what's visible from sections of Arkansas. Those pictures are taken from a low angle, not a stand-up angle, and they're visible from the road and the neighboring homes. And unless they are ground mounted, I'm against these.
What
we-
do you mean the pictures were taken from the ground? Yeah, they're taken from the ground, not on top of a truck.
They're taken from a low angle at the ground. If they were taken at head height, they would be a different perspective. And
I don't see that, but I haven't been out to that part for a
Well,
couple.
I think it's important to go look at it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We should recommend that they take a view of the site.
And it's, I mean, these rooftop things are inappropriate for what we're trying to accomplish in Madaket.
Should we make the motion to put it in the backyard on the property line?
Tom, do you agree with what he said?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna have a different perspective. I don't think solar panels are wrong anywhere in the more rural areas, period. And this is not old Madaket. And when we were doing the Madaket area plan many years ago, it was one of the first ones we did. It took a while to approve Sconset's because I wrote 4 of them, not this one. When we were doing these things, we distinguished between Tristram's and old Madaket. Because I've been in discussion with Holly lately about devising areas of critical concern. Since we don't have a Madaket Old Historic, and we don't have a Wawinit or a Quidnet Old Historic, but there are contributing structures in all 3 zones, we can do areas of critical concern, which was not going to be this side of Madaket Road. It was going to be old Madaket to try to preserve or get more handle on old Madaket, you know, the old cottages that came off of Smith's Point, which are all disappearing over there pretty rapidly. So there has been some discussion about that, but this is not an area of critical concern as far as that stuff is concerned. And if they're on an island, it's not inappropriate to see solar panels. I don't get it. I have never gotten it. I don't get it. Personally speaking, I don't care if you can see it from the street. It's a utility just as much as a gas tank, an oil tank, a raised IA system, which are happening all over Madaket now, or any other utility like that. And if we're on an island that has an astronomical amount of sun, and we want to avoid excessive carbon footprints here or a third cable, I don't see why there's a problem with seeing solar panels, particularly from Arkansas Avenue or Parsons Lane out in Tom Nevers, or, you know, somewhere in the more rural outposts, not downtown. And they are downtown, by the way, and not middle of Sconset type of thing, unless they're completely invisible. I don't understand the antagonism to them.
Well, let me try to explain it to you, Linda. We're trying to maintain a rural, quiet, low-key atmosphere here in Madaket, despite the intrusion of things like Tristram's Landing, this is across the street from. And we're trying to preserve the rural nature here. And no one is saying.
Solar panels, well, wait a minute, Bruce.
Wait a
How,
minute,
you
no,
haven't
you wait a
answered my
minute.
question. My question is,
You
how are
let me
these not
speak.
part of the rural landscape? That's where they belong.
No one is objecting to solar panels. We're saying that when there is sufficient ground area to install them, that's the preferred method. And this is a half-acre site. It's big. There's plenty of room at where that designation 5-9, whatever it is back there on that property line before the pork chop. There's plenty of area there for 250 square foot solar panels to be installed.
All right, now what I want you to do in the meantime, between now and the next meeting, is I want you to drive out to Bishop's Rise. And I want you to tell me that that's appropriate.
No one
That
says
was a
it
ground
is.
array. It was a
been
ground
so-
array. And it's
Linda-
terrible,
Linda,
terrible
we've
looking.
been speaking about these things every time they come up. And we're constantly being brushed aside as if the Madaket area plan and the objectives of the community groups, the Madaket Conservation Association, the old Tristram's group that's now in the MCA, it's as if our desires for how we want to maintain the rural nature of Madaket don't matter to people who don't live in Madaket.
That's not my point. My point is, how are these not where they actually belong in rural areas, not downtown? How are these not part of the rural landscape all over the country, including in historic places like 6A on the Cape? How are these not part of the rural landscape where you would normally think you're going to see them? Because the ground arrays I've seen on Nantucket so far are horrible, absolutely horrible. They're more visible. You don't get it. It's terrible looking. So what I want you to do in the meantime, because I'm never going to agree on this ground array crap, because
That's
I've
okay,
seen ground
Linda.
arrays that are
You
just
don't have to agree with it.
abhorrent.
Ground arrays are critical. Linda, I've put these in all over the country as a developer. The reason they go on the ground is these panels contain highly toxic materials that need to be maintained and observed and inspected after every storm. You can't do
You'd
it on.
rather have them on the ground, Bruce?
That's
You'd
why
rather have them
you put-
disintegrate on the ground?
That's why they go on the ground, so they can be immediately maintained and contained.
No.
Yes,
That's
it is.
that's diametrically opposed to actually what's going to happen if they start to disintegrate. They
have a
disintegrate
re-
right into the ground.
That's
I have
not
a request.
so.
I have a
That's not
request.
so. These things are maintained by the.
Well, I want you, both of you guys, at some point, if you're ever out on Eel Point, you don't have to go that far out. You just go down Eel Point, take a left on whatever it is that takes you up to Bishop's Rise. I think it's Renown. Takes it up to Bishop's Rise, take a left, go up to, if you know where Dale Wayne's house is. You don't have to go that far. All you have to do is go, let me finish, please. All you have to do is go to the end of that first dirt before you take a left onto Bishop's Rise. And that house on the corner, if you're coming down Bishop's Rise, you run right into them. And everybody says, oh, you got to put them on the ground. They're great on the ground. That is crap. And I've got another one out on Drew Lane. That is crap. They
They're
are more
supposed to
visible on
be-
the ground from a traveled way than anything on any rear roof, let me tell you.
What we're saying is to put them on the ground and properly vegetatively buffer them from view. And that's how you do
I'll
it.
put those concerns in here, but I am absolutely diametrically opposed on putting anything on the ground.
Go on.
Much more visible. There's just no way to
I
hide it.
understand that you also present these
No, I
as
don't.
part of your business. So we
No.
understand that, Linda, but you don't live in Madaket. We
I do not, hang on a second. Let's be clear about that. I do not generally represent solar panels for anybody. I've done one because it was on an appeal and I knew how to run an appeal. I didn't present those.
I didn't say you presented them.
So I do not do them as part of my business. I usually leave that up to the solar guys. I've done one other installation because they were off island and they were out in Sun Island Road on flat roofs. So that was the only two I've actually been directly involved with. The rest I leave up to the solar guys because those are the guys that know what these things do and where they go.
Linda, we understand that and appreciate your viewpoint, but the two people on this board here today that actually live in Madaket feel that these things need to be ground mounted and properly vegetated as buffers from view.
Well, I'll put that in, but I'm going to put my concerns in as well.
Okay,
So let's move on. This was sort of by itself. Was the agenda split into two different sections, Esmeralda?
It was, these are the only two that would fall under your jurisdiction.
All right, so 9 Columbus is the other one.
Mhm.
What's
And
the
then-
person's name?
Jonas.
Jeffrey
Jeffrey?
Jonas.
Jeffrey. Jonas. Jonas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I can't read it.
What do you need?
I need to look at the application. Addition, that's what I thought.
Yeah, they're putting in an addition. They're gonna have to move the septic field out into a traveled way and do it. And it's of course on that peninsula that butts into Long Pond area.
Where's the GIS map?
She has to go down. There it is.
Oh, it's around the corner. Okay,
There it is. That pork chop is one of 4 parallel pork chops that is the traveled way from Columbus into that development. There you see.
well,
it.
what they did, the only reason those are there is because they gave them frontage. Let's go look at the elevations. All Tristram's was done before zoning came into being in 1972. That's why they got away with it. Today, you couldn't subdivide that way.
Yes, we agree.
I don't have a concern with this. Anybody have a concern with this?
Go,
I don't, Tom.
Okay,
go down one drawing. Okay, stop. They're adding a 2-window dormer, so to speak, and it's right at the ridge line, which is something that's concerned us in the past.
not in a house that already has one on the ridge.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
look
not
weird.
sure That's
It's a
accurate.
weird house. It is a weird house. It looks like it's one story. I know the house. It looks like it's one story from the street, and then
They've
like
got
a lot of them,
two-
it gets to be weird on the back.
They've got 2 driveway entrances and they're popping it out toward the traveled way. And they're going to have to install elements of the septic system in public view. I don't really have a problem with what they're designing. It's how it's going to end up looking on that traveled way.
Okay, let's be clear. That is not a traveled way. It's an easement for access. It's their private property, along with the other 3 right next to it. This is the strange thing about Tristram's that, started long before zoning happened. These are not traveled ways. These are
familiar
actually
with it.
easements to the property, and they just happen to have traveled easements on those 4 things. Might as well go back to the site plan again. Up there somewhere, yeah. Okay. Their addition is out the back towards the water, I gather, if the water is fairly close there.
No,
It's sort of it's sort of angled to the water.
It's toward the traveled way. There's a small addition toward the water. The large addition is toward the traveled way.
Is the addition inappropriate considering the architecture of these houses? Tom, you're not concerned?
No, I'm not concerned.
Okay. I can't deal with the septic system is not our problem. And the septic system looks like it's being relocated on their lot. There's a dotted line, not a solid line, which means that way is an easement access on their own lot. Columbus is over here to the right somewhere.
It's up at the top right of the drawing.
Yeah. So all of these little quote unquote ways are actually parts of these guys' properties, these 4 properties down here.
Pork chop.
Yeah, and they take a very dim view of pork chops today, but before 1972, it was done all over the place. It's just crazy.
It's how they maximize the yield of their development.
Oh, yeah, and Tristram's is the reason why zoning came into being.
Oh, yeah.
And what happened to Tristram's is why the 1955 HDC Act was redone in 71 is because of Tristram's. So it caused a lot of stuff to happen when they started doing all this stuff,
Yes, it did.
which is fortunate because otherwise maybe they wouldn't have done what they did in 1971 and 72. All right,
That's what they revised it.
yeah. So well, we didn't accept zoning until 71 and it came into being in July of 72.
Esme, is there an indication that the abutters received notice of this?
I don't believe so, since
It's less than 1,000 square feet.
it's a
No,
less, yeah, no,
Well,
they would have
more.
gone.
It's There are two additions being made,
Yeah.
combined total, but anyway,
If it's less than 1,000 square feet total, and it doesn't really include dormers, then it's not going to get a butter notification. If you're in the old historic districts like Sconset and Town, it's anything over 100 square feet. But anything outside of town is 1,000 square feet. Just a weird thing. So Tom, do you want to make a motion? There's no concern,
I can make that motion.
given the existing architecture. Does that work?
Yes,
Because otherwise, not happening. Okay. All right, Bruce, where are you on this?
I guess I'm confused. That addition that's going near the traveled way is going to go right on their two driveways. I don't know how they're gonna get in and out, but
That's not our problem.
not our problem, although that is visible from the, obviously, traveled way, but I'm not going to have substantial objections to this. The design seems compatible with the existing.
Okay, so Tom, you're in favor?
yes.
Bruce?
Yes.
Okay, myself. Okay. Is there anything else on the agenda below this one?
No. And I'm not sure why Diana has joined the meeting, but she hasn't indicated she wants to make any comments.
She's not allowed to.
I see.
Yep, that was it. Just those two
Okay.
applications. Thank you.
Okie dokie. Moving along. Somebody want to make a motion to adjourn at 10:27?
So many,
I can-
Is that Bruce?
yes.
Okay,
I can
and Tom,
second
you
it.
second?
Yes.
Okay. All right, all in favor? Bruce,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
myself? Okay, cool. We'll see you next time. There's a lot of activity out in Madaket. That's for
Thank you,
sure.
everyone.
A lot
Have a
of
good-
activity in Madaket. And
Have
just
a
so
good
you
day.
know,